I think Feldenkrais is fairly unique among the movement systems because there's a strong focus on learning to identify when you are straining yourself as opposed to stretching, right? And as you learn to become more sensitive to strain, you begin to feel more sensitive to the way that your whole body structure is connected. This first lesson we'll do is just going to be simple twisting. Turning and looking over one shoulder, observe how far can you look comfortably before you start to feel any restriction. You may feel the restriction is in the neck, the upper back, the middle back, even in the lower back, the hip. In particular, notice the difference between the twisting as you look left and right. Now, if we go into more of a stretching pattern, maybe a yoga, like a chair yoga type session, maybe I would start twisting by pulling my arm, right? You could pull my elbow and I start to feel a really nice stretch. It feels very good. These are good things to do. And if I'm aware, I'll be sure to relax and soften as I go into the twist and to lengthen my spine. So as I twist here, I feel, I'm pulling my elbow, so I feel my shoulder blade. And my shoulder blade is then pulling on my back and my ribs. So I feel my ribs and my spine. I feel that I'm shifting my weight onto one sits bone, and then the other side is moving forward. So one side, the hip and the knee move forward, the other side, the hip and the knee move back. And I can feel movement all the way down to the floor. There's a little bit of bending in my ankle, and I can feel weight shifting in my feet. So from top to bottom or from bottom to top, I can organize my awareness so I'm aware of all the different components of the twist. The movements, in this case, I'm thinking more in terms of skeletal as well as the connective tissue that joins the skeletal system and the muscle system. If I were to cross my leg and perhaps put an elbow in a position and then go into a further twist, that would start to give me more of a stretch through my hip capsule. Again, it feels good. I could put two hands on one side. I could use the chair back. A lot of different ways that you could twist. But let's go a little more gently as you twist. Slowly turn your head to your left and stop as soon as you feel any resistance. And then just return to the beginning. And ask yourself, how was that? How did that feel? Do it again. Only do what's easy. Even do less than what you think is easy. And feel as you make this movement how much else of yourself is connected to that simple movement of turning your head. To make it simple, how do you feel the upper back? How do you feel the lower back? You can turn your head the other way now. How is that different? How do you feel the middle back to the lower back? All the way down to your tailbone and your pelvis. And just simply feel, how's the twisting? What's the sensation? Does the movement feel like it stops, that it gets restricted somewhere in the back or the neck? Leave that and just kind of shake out your shoulders a little bit. Just loosen up the hips. Exhale. Just let the air out of your lungs. Let the air come in freely. Good. Now scratch the back of your head a few times and just tap it. Just get your attention there to the back of your head. You're going to leave that. Now you're aware of the back of your head, that sensation. And now as you do the same turning of the head motion, focus on the motion from the perspective of the back of your head, as if the movement starts from the back of your head. So if I turn my head to the left, I feel that the back of my head turns to the right. How does it feel when you focus on the back of the head compared to the front? Most of the time, we are oriented towards what is happening in front of us. So if we are oriented towards the front of ourselves and the space that's in front of us as we turn, we have a tendency to recruit some of these larger muscles of the neck, like the sternocleidomastoid, which will tend to pull you more into a flexed position and lead to a little more of a restriction or strain in the neck as you turn your head. Turn your head the other way. Feel the difference, focusing on the back of the head. And what I feel is that the motion just seems to be a little more centered as I turn my head, focusing on the back of the head. I could even move my attention beyond my body, that personal space that I mentioned in another video, and just focus on the space behind you and around you. Maybe it's like water. So as you turn your head, it's as if your head could just rest into that space and be supported by it. It feels different. That's the bottom line. It may not feel better to you, but it does feel different. If you can't feel a difference, I would suggest just leaving the exercise, resting on your back, and maybe doing the lesson in your imagination. Now bring a similar level of focus to the chest, the shoulder blades, the upper back, and just turn the chest. Turn it left, turn it right. Only doing what's easy. which direction feels easier, more connected to the rest of yourself? What is your bias? Does your body prefer to turn left, or does it prefer to turn right? We could approach it the same way as we did with the head. You have the back surface and the front surface. As you turn, again, most likely you're oriented towards the front, unconsciously. Now focus on the back, as if you're in that water, some thick substance that supports you, and you're turning and your shoulder blades moving back into that substance. The other shoulder blade just moves forward. Feel the ribs, feel the spine. Leave it alone. Shake it out a little bit. You can bend forward if you feel tense at all. Roll your shoulders a little bit. Good. Now bring the attention down to your hips, your pelvis, and your lower back. Moving one side back, and then the other side back. And feel as the hip goes back, your knee is basically pushing the hip back. It's your thigh bone, which creates a little bit of twisting in the lower back. Of course, you also feel that there's movement up into the middle back and the upper back. You feel that the shoulder, same side shoulder, will like to join in the movement as well. And if you go below the pelvis, you can feel that your feet, your legs are also actively engaged with this pattern. Leave it in rest. Wiggle your pelvis a little bit, side to side. Do a few circles with the pelvis. Change direction. And now from the ground, organize the twist. So feel the feet, the knees, and then one hip goes back, and then feel the chest, the upper back, the shoulder blades, and then feel the back of the head, the front of the head, and you turn. Even the eyes. Notice the eyes. But start the movement with a sense of connection to the ground, and just see how it goes. Only do 70%, not to the extent that you feel any tension or stress or resistance. The feet connect to the knees, connect to the hips, connects to the lower back, middle back, the upper back, all the way up through the shoulders to the neck and head. Now, organize it so that you feel your eyes lead the movement. So as I turn my attention with my eyes, I look, and I feel that my muscles already want me to go. I look and I go and I turn and I twist. It feels different depending on how I initiate the movement. Now focus on initiating from the same side eye. So if you're turning to the right, focus through the right eye. Lead with your attention on the right eye. And just see what that's like. Go very slowly. Don't do that much at all. Just do that a few times, the same direction, the right eye. Look to the right. How is that? One more time. Now look through the left eye as you turn to the same direction, to the right, right? So your left eye, your contralateral eye, turns, and feel the difference if you look through that left eye versus the right eye. And notice for yourself which way is easier. Why is it easier? Try a few times the other way. It's the contralateral eye that makes it easier for the twisting. Our body is organized to move in patterns that are contralateral. Good. Leave it alone and rest. And just come back to the original movement, turning the head very slowly, and just see, how is it now? How far can you look comfortably? And how comfortable is it? How connected is it? Can you feel even the tiniest movement of the head if you just think of turning your head to the left or to the right? Can you feel that it goes all the way down to your tailbone? It goes all the way down to your feet. So even the thought creates the movement, and even the smallest movement is connected through all the bones and all the connective tissue so that the movement is experienced in a global way. And finally, just imagine that you're surrounded by that sphere, a sphere of energy or water, something along those lines. It doesn't have to be a sphere, you're in space. And just use the awareness of what's outside you, the space outside you, to create the movement inside, right? So you turn the sphere, right? I'm going to turn the sphere. I feel in front, side, back, and then I go. And I'm still aware that the sphere is around me as I turn. Right? And I like to work a lot with that external level of awareness as I go about my day and my daily routines, whether I'm exercising, walking, working on patients, or cooking, or doing anything really. So the external awareness versus the internal awareness.